I want to move into the meat of because that
Okay.
wasn't even the meat of it.
Okay.
Um, so the other part of that is significant cognitive disability, significant um, cognitive deficit, which basically just means significant intellectual disability, which would be consistent with having a profoundly low IQ.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so her brain is significantly impacted in its ability to learn, process information, understand all of that. Uh, Severe ADHD from brain injury.
Mm-hmm.
That one is the least of our concerns.
Yeah.
We're not strangers to it. And yeah, she did specify most likely from the injury to her brain. And that would explain some of the wildness, probably. Some of it. Now,
Sure.
a lot of, it's nuanced because then there's brain injury, and part of her brain injury affects her impulse control. So there's a lot of way smarter people. Whatever I'm trying to say, way smarter people could explain that way better. That's what I'm trying to say. Um, and the hardest part I think about this whole thing was that she will, she is very unlikely to ever have the ability to live independently.
Mm-hmm.
And even as an adult, she will most likely only ever be able to be left alone for around 30 minutes.
Yep.
We will need to take guardianship of her when she's 18.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, she'll plateau,
Mm-hmm.
meaning she'll learn and she'll grow, she'll gain speech. And then at some point, she's gonna kind of go like that.
Mm-hmm.
She can still learn some stuff, but her age equivalent at that point will be done.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
And what hit me was permanence.
Mm-hmm.
She's her we've always known, and I feel like we've always said in this podcast, she may never live independently.
Mm-hmm.
We've always said that. But someone just confirmed it.
Yeah. I mean, there was some early thoughts there. We didn't have confirmation like we
But
did
we
yesterday.
still had some hope.
Sure. Yeah.
And so now we're in this very unlikely.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be clear, at least as far as I'm concerned, and it wouldn't be selfish for you to feel different. I don't care if she lives in my house forever. I genuinely don't care for me. I don't. Will we need support? Yes. As a couple to put our marriage first, yes, we will need help to be able to prioritize our marriage
Sure.
because we will need to have the ability to step away from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
I am not grieving for myself. Maybe I will, but right now I'm not.
Okay.
And it's okay if you are or if anyone else does. That's not where my mind immediately goes. Right now I'm grieving what as a neurotypical person assumes is a normal life. Now, I'm also grieving and I'm also angry because this world, this country is not built and adapted for people with her struggles. And that makes me mad. And I know maybe it shouldn't, or maybe maybe I should take that anger and I should channel it into
Mm-hmm.
advocacy, and I probably will. But right now I'm angry because this beautiful, affectionate, precious, joyful child is going to grow up in a world that isn't interested in adapting for her. They're only interested and her adapting to them. That's just the reality of disability.
Mm-hmm.
And especially invisible disability.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of conversation. Molly Burke talks about this a lot, who is somebody who is blind. And I don't want to misquote her here, but she talks a lot about adaptability for for people that I don't know if blind people, I don't think that's the right way to say it, but people that can't see, people
Mm-hmm.
that are blind to some degree, either totally or I might be butchering that, and I apologize if I am, but unsighted people, maybe that's a better way of saying it. I'm not sure. And I will learn more terms as we go down this road because I want to be sensitive to, we're entering this whole new world of disability and learning words that are harmful, right? And so anyway, all that to say, she talks a lot about the world not being adapted for people that don't have sight. But there is a lot of adaptation, certainly not enough, but a lot more, at least. I think this is what she said. For people who are disabled and in a wheelchair, people who are like, take just now, let's go back to just simply my perspective, not hers, because I don't know that she would, I don't want to speak for her. From my perspective, what that looks like is handicap parking, grab bars in restrooms, handicap stalls in bathrooms, wheelchair ramps, to get into the hospital, hospitals having wheelchairs readily available for people, things like that. What is there for people with profound intellectual cognitive disability? Like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I'm aware of. What that looks like, I don't know. Does that mean that as a whole people should be more educated on people with intellectual disabilities and how to communicate with them? Maybe. I have no idea what that looks like. All I know is that it's not there.
Okay.
Does that make any sense? I feel like I'm rambling.
I'm just listening. Yeah.
I know, but does that make sense?
It does. I'm just thinking through like how,
I don't
it's
know.
because
I don't know how to
when
adapt to the world for
questions are
her.
posed, like my mind immediately goes to, okay, what's a solution?
Right. And that I don't know.
Yeah.
And we will learn what solutions might make sense the
Mm-hmm.
more we learn about this. But I think it will take other families and people like us to talk about it.
Yeah. That's probably the start is just talking about it because if you stay quiet, then there's nobody knows.
Yeah.
So,
I want to, I want to address one thing too, because there was a TikTok recently and I posted about it, but one thing that we need to first and foremost be sure that we don't do is place labels on children like that, because this person had referred to children very much like Mila as behavior kids, or quote physically able behavior kids. And I think if you start, and the person that was talking was a person whose child is in a wheelchair. I think if you start, and she was advocating for like separation. Now, I'm not going to go into the separation, whether that's good, whether that's bad, whatever. All I'm saying is the label, the words, behavior kids means if you say behavior kids, what you're essentially saying is discipline it out of your child or do enough ABA therapy to fix it. There's something to be fixed, because you can fix behavior, but you cannot fix disability.
mm-hmm.
So first and foremost, no one should be referring to children with an intellectual disability of any kind as a behavior kid. Okay? So just that was my PSA for that.